which company do you think violates your privacy the most? Google? Facebook? Maybe Microsoft? Well, you're not wrong in that these companies do violate your privacy, but they're likely not the worst offender. First of all, you know who they are, and you can take certain steps to mitigate how much data they collect or even eliminate their data collection altogether by not using their services. There's someone, though, that not only has more data than all of these companies, but you also have no chance of cutting them out, and their name is Oracle. Within tech circles, Oracle is a classic, but outside tech circles, most people have never even heard of the company. This is quite surprising given that Oracle is the 38th largest company in the world with a market cap of over $200 billion. And Oracle's founder, Larry Ellison, is the 7th richest person in the world with a net worth of just over $90 billion. Not only is Oracle massive and rich, but they're also extraordinarily powerful. A few weeks ago, you may have seen our video on SAP and SAP's domination within the enterprise solutions market. Well, SAP only has one competitor, and that's of course Oracle. 98% of global Fortune 500 companies use Oracle, and Oracle has over 430,000 customers around the world who are virtually all $10 million plus businesses. They're not just limited to enterprise solutions either. In fact, they own a lot of random tech products and IP here and there. For example, Oracle literally owns the programming language Java, and they even went as far as suing Google for quote-unquote plagiarizing Java. In 2021, they were even trying to buy TikTok, and back in 1997, they were actually trying to buy out the entirety of Apple on multiple occasions. Considering all this, I don't think you'd be surprised to hear that Oracle has a total of 5 billion end users, which is more than any of the FAANG companies. And yes, even Google only has 4.3 billion users. Likely the only companies that boast a larger customer count are consumer brands like Nestle and Coca-Cola or someone like Johnson & Johnson. But those aren't tech companies, so they don't exactly have a bunch of data on you like Oracle. A couple of years ago, Larry Ellison even made a presentation in which he made his intentions of controlling the entire population blatantly obvious. He said, quote, "How many people are on Earth? 7 billion? 2 billion to go." On my last video about SAP, a lot of people commented that SAP isn't actually all that powerful, given that they simply sell software to companies. But like I said in that video, that's because SAP doesn't do anything nefarious with it, even though they could. And Oracle is a perfect example of just what they could do. Just a few months ago, a class action lawsuit was brought against Oracle for allegedly collecting, profile, and selling the data of 5 billion users. So here's the story of how Oracle became the most discreet, but also the most powerful giant within the entire tech industry. Taking a look back, the story of Oracle dates back to 1977 to 3 men named Bob Miner, Ed Oates, and Larry Ellison. The company started off as a database software developer. In fact, the company's original name was actually Software Development Laboratories, or SDL. The inspiration for the company was from a research paper written by Edgar F. Codd that described the intricacies of relational database management systems. At first, Ellison's goal was to create a piece of software that was compatible for IBM's System R database. But unlike Xerox, IBM wasn't absolute idiots who just handed out their intellectual property like candy. So the trio would have an extremely difficult time at trying to troubleshoot IBM error codes, and they would eventually shift their focus onto an easier target, the government. The US government has this policy of giving everyone an equal chance of trying to land government contracts. They post their contracts publicly, and virtually any US citizen can bid on these contracts. The trio would do exactly this, and somehow they would win a contract to build a database for the CIA. The project was called Oracle, and this is what would eventually become the company's name. With the project under their belt, the team would get to work on creating the world's first commercial relational database program that used SQL. And this program would eventually get deployed at an Air Force base in Dayton, Ohio. Fun fact, the first commercial version of their product was actually called Oracle V2. The team figured that less people would be willing to buy a V1 product, so they just went ahead and named it V2. And it seems like this, along with the fact that they serviced the CIA, gave them quite a solid reputation. Not to mention, it's not like there were many other options anyway. So more and more companies started to adopt Oracle for their own database software. This was really the bread and butter of the original Oracle. Year after year, they just kept iterating on their database software, coming out with Oracle V3, V4, V5, V6, V7, and so on. This was quite lucrative given that tech companies were rapidly growing, and basically all of them needed database software, which they didn't want to develop themselves. By 1989, they reached annual revenues of over $500 million, but Oracle was just getting started. Throughout the 1990s, they would try to expand their business and move into the consumer market, but this didn't work out all that well. For example, in 1995, they tried to break into the internet market by launching a browser called Power Browser. Similarly, in 1997, they tried to break into the computer market by launching something called the network computer. The network computer was actually a brilliant idea. It aimed to remove much of the components inside of a computer and instead have it run off servers, networks, and databases similar to a Chromebook. But Oracle quickly found out that the public simply wasn't ready for this product. While these products didn't quite work out, Oracle's core business was still growing exponentially, and soon they actually found a viable expansion opportunity. While Oracle wasn't able to break into those new markets, something they could do is buy companies that were already successful. And luckily for Oracle, they would get the buying opportunity of a lifetime with the dot-com crash. While Oracle stock itself got destroyed by the dot-com crash, the same could not be said about Oracle's fundamentals. Their business itself was as strong as ever, which gave them the perfect opportunity to buy out everyone else at record low prices. And that's exactly what they did. Oracle's entire acquisition history is way too long to go through, so we'll just focus on their 5 biggest acquisitions, starting with PeopleSoft in 2005. PeopleSoft was an ERP or enterprise resource planning company that focused on creating software for common business tasks. Their product line included 5 main pieces of software, including a human resource management system, a financial management solution, supply chain management, customer relationship management, and enterprise performance management. These products accomplish exactly what they sound like. The supply chain management software, for example, helps companies keep track of demand, supply, inventory, procurement, order management, and so on. Similarly, the human resources system helps companies keep track of new hires, employee turnover, vacation hours, payroll, benefits, and so on. I think you can see why basically every company would need this software. Oracle would follow up this acquisition by purchasing Siebel Systems. Siebel was also an enterprise software company, but they didn't sell ERP software. Instead, they sold a different branch of enterprise software called CRM applications or customer relationship management applications. This software helps companies manage and coordinate their marketing and customer service efforts. Moving on to Oracle's third major acquisition, we have yet another enterprise solutions company called BEA Systems. BEA Systems focused on offering a suite of business process management tools with an emphasis on e-commerce. They even called themselves the e-commerce transactions company, as they specialized in creating software and servers that allowed for high-volume e-commerce transactions. After that, we have Oracle's most famous acquisition of all time, Sun Microsystems. Unlike the other companies, Sun wasn't just focused on one industry or product. They were a massive tech conglomerate that did everything from developing software to selling hardware. Likely the most interesting part of Sun, however, is their various inventions. These were the guys who created the Java programming language, the Solaris operating system, ZFS, NFS, and Spark microprocessors. They also made significant contributions to Unix, RISC processors, thin client computing, and virtualized computing. Essentially, this acquisition gave Oracle access to a boatload of IP. And that brings us into Oracle's last major acquisition, which was NetSuite in 2016. NetSuite rounded out Oracle's enterprise suite by giving them access to the last piece that they were missing, the cloud. NetSuite was an expert at cloud-based enterprise software, cloud computing, and cloud ERP. And all of these acquisitions bring us to where we are today. If you're still wondering what Oracle sells, the answer is virtually anything and everything that companies need to stay operational on the back end. They started off with just database software, but they have gone on to acquire basically every enterprise solutions giant in the world except for SAP. And today, they offer all of this. As this Quora user put it, it would take a very dedicated effort for a large organization like a Fortune 500 to not be running Oracle somewhere. And that's how Oracle gained access to the data of 5 billion people. But what exactly are they even collecting? Well, allegedly, Oracle has been using cookies, tracking pixels, device identification, and cross-device tracking to collect 3 subsets of information, starting with personal information. This includes users' names, home and work address, email address, and phone numbers. The second subset of information consists of behavioral information. This includes websites viewed by users, online and offline purchases, where they shop, and their mode of payment. The third subset of information is even more personal given that it includes things such as income, political views, and hobbies. And the worst part is that you virtually have no way of avoiding them. Heck, people usually complain about large corporations, but even they can't avoid using Oracle. Oracle has become an omnipresent backend giant that's reputable, has scale, is reliable, and has basically everything you would need. So Oracle isn't going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, they're only growing stronger and more powerful. As Ellison said, only 2 billion people to go. But what about the class action lawsuit? That should be able to deal some damage to Oracle, right? Well, probably not. Even if Oracle ends up being found guilty, it's not like a fine would really change their ways or stop them. Even if Oracle was fined $10 billion, it would at max set them back 1 year. So there's really no choice but to simply deal with it just like we deal with Google or Facebook. On the bright side, Oracle does make our modern tech-based world possible. But with that being said, it's probably still not all that great for an individual company to have so much power, control, and influence. But that's just what I think. Did you realize how much power Oracle has? Comment that down below. Also, drop a like if this video helped you understand Oracle's business better. And of course, consider checking out our Discord community to suggest future video ideas and consider subscribing to see more questions logically answered. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.